Welcome to Math with Mrs. Cox. We are on Chapter 7, Lesson 6, page 513. We're discussing patterns. A couple of keywords you need to understand for this chapter is sequence. Is a list of numbers that follow a specific pattern. Each number in the list is called a term. Here's the sequence. That's our specific pattern. And each of these numbers are called terms. And the dots indicate that the sequence continues, ... Let's begin. Mary and her friends find a 4-leaf clover during lunch. A 4-leaf clover has 4 leaves. The table shows the total number of leaves for several 4-leaf clovers. I used to look for 4-leaf clovers all the time when I was your guys' age. I actually found one too. Anyway, back to the math problem. Extend the pattern to find the next 3 terms. So what you need to understand is here's our terms. And the pattern is 4 in between each of these. And how you can figure that out is you look at 8 and 4 and realize there's 4. 12 and 8 and there's 4. 16 and 12 and there's 4. And they also told us 4 up here. So we realize that it's going to be 4. So each term in this sequence can be found by adding a 4. And it helps if I have my markup on. There we go, that's much better. So 16 plus 4 is 20. And then we have 20 plus 4 is going to be 24. Then we're going to have 24 plus 4 is 28. So the next 3 terms are going to be 20, 24, and 28. Maria and Huang are training to run a half marathon. A half marathon is about 13 miles. It's just slightly over 13 miles if you're getting specific. The weekly training plans are shown in the table. Use the information to write a sequence, just like we did on the previous page, to represent each person's weekly training plan. Then compare the plans. Okay, so we're going to do a sequence for Maria and a sequence for Huang, and then we're going to compare the 2 of them, okay? So let's look at Maria. Maria, starting is 2 miles, and she adds 2 miles per week for the next 4 weeks. Okay, so let's worry about Maria. It's skip counting by 2. So we're going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We go this far because it said she starts at 2 miles and then it goes for the next 4 weeks. So we have to have 4 more terms. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our 4 terms. Okay, now let's do Huang. It starts at 4. Then we add 4 terms. So we're going to skip count by 4. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Started at 4 miles, added 4 more terms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we have our sequences. Now we need to compare. So each week, Huang plans to run blank as many miles as Maria plans to run. So let's look at them. The ending number, here's Huang, 20. He'll end up running 20 at the end of his training practice, while Maria will only end up running 10. So think about that. What's the difference about that? I would say when you're comparing them, 20 is twice as much as 10. So we can put the word twice as many miles as Maria. Okay, number 1. Write the next 3 terms in the sequence 1, 4, 7, and 10. If you look at those, you can see there are 3 in between that number. And between 4 and 7, there's 3. And between 10 and 7, there's 3. So I would have to say 3 is what our pattern is. So they add 3 to the previous term. So 10 plus 3 is 13. We have 13 plus 3 is 16. 16 plus 3 is 19. So the next 3 in terms is 13, 16, and 19. Okay, that is going to be what we're going to be doing for this guided practice, is we're going to identify the pattern. Check. Then write the next 3 terms in each sequence. Check. Figure out how Mrs. Cox can quit making that button that says select all come up. Check. Now you need to understand that you're going to have a mixture of add, subtract, multiply, or divide. So you kind of have to look at them, and they're going to kind of be tricky. But don't worry, I'll help you out. Try to figure them out first, but don't spend too much time on them, okay? So let's look at number 2. If I look between these numbers, I can see a pattern. Between 0 and 7, I know there's 7. Between 7 and 14, there's 7. And between 14 and 21, there's 7. So I'd have to say 7, and they are adding 7. So do a little semicolon. And what are the next 3 going to be in it? Well, 21 plus 7 would be 28. And then 28 plus 7. You could do that in your head or your fingers, whatever you need to do. 35. And then 35 plus 7, 42. Okay, number 3. We have big crazy number. And it looks like a number isn't quite that crazy. And then it gets quite a bit smaller and quite a bit smaller. So, my goodness, I wonder what it's going to be. So let's look at these 2 numbers right here. It looks like they're definitely being shrunk by a lot. So it's not going to be subtraction. And it's not going to be add, multiply. So it's probably going to be division. So I'm going to put divide. Let's kind of go through the numbers. It's not divided by 1. Definitely not divided by 2, because that would, in half, would be about 700. So then we kind of do a guess and check. Let's maybe try 3. 3 will go into 1. Nope, 3 will go into 14 at least 4 times. 12, 2, bring down the 5. 3 will go into 25 at least 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. 1 left over, bring down the 8. So 3 will go into that 6 times. Ooh, that will go into everything. So it is dividing by 3. Let's hold true and see if it works with the 486. And I'm going to erase all this so I have room for other works. So 486 divided by 3. 3 will go into 4 at least once. 1 times 3 is 3. 1, 8. 3 will go into 18 6 times. 18, 0. Bring down the 6. 2, and that is my next number. Okay, so it's safe to say that it is dividing by 3. And I'm going to erase all that so that it looks a little bit neater. I'm going to say divided by 3. So now I have to take 54 divided by 3, because I have to find the next 3 terms. 3 will go into 5. This is something I need to see wrote on your page, by the way, so that I know that you are working along with me. Okay, so the next one is going to be 18. And I can tell you right now that 18 divided by 3 is 6. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So there is the next 3 terms in the sequence. Okay, number 4. Looking at these numbers, I can see that there is, how many numbers are there? 6. There's 6 between here. Between 66 and 60, there's 6. And between these numbers, there's 6. Okay, so it's decreasing by 6. It's not division, but it's going to be subtraction. Okay, the next 3 numbers in the term. So 54, subtract 6. Go ahead and count on your fingers if you need to. I'm going to write it down here because I ran out of room. 48, and then 48 subtract 6 is 42. 42 subtract 6 would be 36. Okay, number 5, looking at these numbers, let's see, between 1 and 3, there's 3. Between 3 and 9, there's 6. Between 9 and 27, there's a whole bunch more, so that's not working. What is it? Oh, I bet it is multiplying by 3. Because, yeah, those are all, that's skip counting, multiplying. We can multiply by 3, each of those numbers. So 27 times by 3 is not skip countings, but it's timesing by 3. 6, 7, 8. 81. Then we need to take 81 times 3. And this is where you can just go ahead and write the answer because it's really big. And this chapter will take forever if you have to do all this work. And then 243 times 3, 729. Okay, number 6. Let's look at this pattern and see what we have. Looks like there's 2 in between this one, and there's 4, and there's 8. Looks like it's doubling. So, but it's multiplying. So I'm going to say multiply by 2. So 16 times 2 would be 32. 32 times 2 is 64. 64 times 2 is 128. Okay, number 7. Trying to find the pattern here. They're definitely getting smaller as they're going to the right. So it's not addition or multiplication. It's going to be subtraction or division. Looking at the difference here, it looks like there's about 6, 6, and 6. So I'd say it's subtract. So 76 subtract 6 is 70. And then 70 with 6 taken away is 64. 64 minus 6 is 58. Okay, number 8. Looks like they are multiples of 12. Looks like a skip counting by 12, or just adding 12 to each one. So I'm going to say add 12. So 48 plus 12 is 60, then 72, and 84. Okay, number 9. Okay, they are definitely getting drastically smaller as they're going to the right. And it looks like it's about in half, but let's try and do some multiple or some division and see. 2 will go into 5 at least twice. And we'll do it 5 times. Okay, 256, yep. So it is dividing by 2. So 64 divided by 2 is 32. 32 divided by 2 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay, number 10, we have 8 and 13 and 8. Let's see, between 8 and 13, there's 5 numbers. 13, 18, 5 numbers, and 5. So it's probably, I'm going to say add 5. So 23 plus 5 is 28. And then plus 5 is 33. Plus 5 is 38. Okay, number 11. We have some crazy numbers here. Let's see, between 11 and 24, 13, 24 and 37, be 3 would be 13 again, and 13. Well, that's kind of quirky. So it's add 13. So 50 plus 13 is 63. 63 plus 13, 76. This is great if you can do it in your head. 76 plus 13 is 89. Okay, you guys getting sick of these patterns yet? We got a couple more. Okay, number 12. We have 83 and 75. Okay, they're definitely getting smaller as we're going to the right. Let's look at this. How many numbers are between 83 and 75? 8 between these two, 8 and 8. Okay, so it's subtract. Subtract by 8. So 59 take away 8 is 51. 51 take away 8, 43. 43 take away 8 is 35. Whew. 13. Let's see if we can figure out the pattern. There are 6 in between here, but there's a whole bunch more in between that. So let's see. So it's definitely getting bigger. So it's not adding, so it's multiplying by something. 2 will go into 8 4 times. 8 will go into 32 4 times. So it's multiplied by 4. Okay, and the next things we're going to have, all right, these numbers are huge, so go ahead and just write them down with me. So what you would do is you do 128 times 4, and you would work it out to figure out it's 512. Then you take 512 times 4, and that's 2,048. 2,048 times 4 will give you 8,192. This book likes big old complicated problems. Okay, there you go. Check things out. And you know what? We've spent enough time on this lesson. We're going to actually stop right there. So you can raise your hand and have me come look at your homework. And then I'll approve for you to go on to your, or I can look at your guided practice, and then I'll approve for you to go on to your homework.